But I want to just stress that it's not just the developed economies in the world. And this gets to kind of the degrowth thing I think we got to think about. It's essentially starting in the 80s, it wasn't just the new technologies, but essentially the globalization of the world. This is the trade going off, kicking off since 1980. This is level of trade. This is people traveling. When I was a college kid, nobody was traveling across country borders, and now it's like 1.5 billion people running around all the time. Essentially, crazy knitting people together with human beings communicating. And this is essentially the kind of lifestyles, essentially the GDP per capita in China, East Asia, South Asia. All these people were lifted out of extreme poverty into the global economy. And in fact, when you look just in our period of 40 years here, if you go back, this is all people for most of history, everybody lived in extreme poverty. That's $2 a day or less. Basically, as late as 1980, 40% of the planet was in that. This is China bringing all their people back. We're down to about 11%. Now, can we stop that? No, we have to bring everybody out of that kind of extreme poverty. And so I would just kind of point out that there are some inexorable things going to happen in the next 25 years. Meaning they're going to happen one way or the other, it's just playing out here, that are going to help us with climate and help bring those people up all over the world. One is we're going to move everybody into cities. For all of human history, up until 2010, there were more people out roaming around in rural areas than in urban. That changed then. And looking forward, 25 years to 2050, this is pretty much expected that we'll pretty much have 70 to 75, potentially 80% of the world will be in cities in the next 25 years. Now that's good because when you bring people off that, the second thing is, so you got people in cities, which is a load off the kind of environment. The second thing is the global middle class. Oops, let me just put in one thing. Global middle class is anyone who has a scooter, an air conditioner, a refrigerator, and a little pocket money to put their kid in school. And that, who's going to deny that to anyone on the planet? It turns out we already have half the world is at that level now, partly because of the last 40 years. It's now expected with growth, we could actually get about another 1.7 billion people into that global middle class category. By the way, anybody in our middle class is rich by any standards. And so we're going to essentially could grow this a little bit, but we can move a lot of people out of that extreme poverty. The second thing, final thing, is that when you do that for women, essentially we bring the population rates down. Women in cities working in middle-class environments have lower birth rates. We are watching that all over the world. It's coming, this is the West kind of happen. It's happening all over the world, and we expect to do that. We need fewer people on the planet. We're turning the corner. It's all going to work.